Here.
Robertson,
Here.
Mike O'Kane,
Now I'm here.
thank you. Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Aaron Trolia,
Present.
Robert Williams.
Present.
Okay, thank you. Chairman Mike Porter,
Present.
7 present.
7 present. We do have a quorum. Item number 2 is the approval of minutes. These will be from the November 10th, 2020 meeting. If there's no corrections, need a motion to approve those, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. There are no removals from the agenda, so need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk Munson, item number 4, audience comments. Are there any audience comments?
No, Chairman, there are not.
Okay, no audience comments. Item number 5, chairman's comments. I have none at this time. Item number 6 will be approving the payrolls. These will be from the December 4th, 2020 run. Need a motion to put that on the table for discussion.
So moved.
Second. Okay, questions? No questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Norman Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Streeting,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 7 is the approval of the vouchers payable. There's a special run from December 2nd and a regular run from December 8th. Need a motion to put those on the table, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions? Any questions? I don't see any hands. Okay, roll call, please.
Norman O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Streeting,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 8, Public Transportation Director Beeth. We have 8A is a resolution awarding bid number 664 for the purchase of a reconditioned transit engine. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
So moved. Second.
Second. Okay, been moved and seconded. Questions? Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Norman Pickering,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Streeting,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 8B, items of information. B1 is the monthly report. Any questions on the monthly report? Director Beast, do you have anything?
Well, I did just want to clarify about purchasing another reconditioned engine. This is the second 2011 bus that in almost as many months, it seems, that we've purchased an engine for. And just so you'll know, the Rebuild Illinois grant will be covering the purchase of 4 buses to take the place of 2 of these buses. We have 308s and 2 of these buses that will be replaced. We're going to have to figure out which one we're going to hang on to. But, in order to get them to that point, you know how long it takes to get a bus from the day you order it till the day you get it. We're talking, 18 months, 24 months. It takes a while. So, we may have another engine to replace in a 2011 because they are just not giving us the mileage that they used to. These buses have about between 350 and 400,000 miles on them now. So, that's been a pretty good haul. But we still have a long way to go to make these, to keep these in service. So we may have another engine to replace as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
Any questions?
Yeah, Director Beef,
Yes.
have you heard are other bus companies around the state or the country, are they having trouble with the 2011s too? Is that like a bad line?
It's not just the 11s, and Carl can attest to this, I'm sure, but they've changed, in the recent years, they've changed a lot of the emission standards on these buses and heavy machinery, and it just doesn't give you the same mileage that we used to get out of the older 92s. Those 92s, I mean, they were, up close to 700,000 miles, some of them, but we're just not getting that kind of mileage anymore. And some of it has to do with the emissions, is my guess. And, you might ask Carl to verify that, but he has mentioned also that all the DEF and all the, I'm no mechanic, but all the things that they've added have, just really cut down on the amount of miles that you're getting out of vehicles. So.
Okay. Anything else, Alderman or Vice Mayor Iverson?
No. Sorry, good job.
Okay. Thank you, Director.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 9, Public Works. Director Carpenter, we have 9A. I don't know what's going on with that. 9A is a resolution approving the utilization of a CDBG public facility funds, Laura Lee Fellowship House rehab at 212 East William Street. Motion to put that on the table, please.
Chairman, can we take that and B together if possible?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, yes. And we'll take 9B as well, as also deals with money. Awarded bid number 663 for the rehabilitation of Laura Lee Fellowship House at 212 East William Street. We did receive a new resolution with the amount in it today. That amount is $129,660. So if there's an objection, take A and B together. We need a motion to do so.
Is anybody else getting a lot of background noise?
Yeah, I can't understand, right.
Is somebody on speakerphone? Or?
For some reason, I think Carl's iPad is causing it. It's fine. Chairman, did we have a motion in a second?
I didn't. There's no hands, and I did not hear a motion or a second.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay. Carl, you have anything to tell us on that, or Logan?
I had a question.
Okay.
When are we going to get the bid just to look at it? It said that the bid's going to come unless I missed it. I might have missed it in my emails.
Yeah, Alderman Troglia, it should be in your email. If it's not, I'll go ahead and send you another copy tomorrow. And then it will also be provided in your council packets.
Okay. I'll look at it then this week.
Logan, can you give the alderman a summary of what exactly is being done here? A brief summary?
Yeah. So the specifications in the original bid were to replace 20 windows, all exterior doors, and the roof on the old structure, so on the northern side of the building. Then we noticed that if you look at the bids in your email or in the future, you'll notice a $162,000 bid, which is roughly $30,000 over our CDBG budget. Since he was the only bidder, we went back and expressed this issue, and he adjusted his proposal to, instead of replacing the gym floor with vinyl plank or a material like that, he's just going to remove the old tile and use epoxy, switching the EPDM or rubber roof to PVC, which he swears by. And we actually were able to sneak in 5 more additional windows and a door in this proposal as well with those changes.
Who's your contractor?
It's called Stealth Mode Construction. It's out of Mahomet.
Okay.
So all of the exterior doors, all the exterior windows, the entire roof on the original part of the fellowship house, as well as the flooring in the gymnasium will be completely replaced. So at that point, structurally, the facility should be in amazing shape for a long time to come.
And Logan, the original bid was 161,998. That's what's on the bid number 663. But like you say, they did adjust that to 129,623.
Yes, and just in case there's overages, the gym floor can be removed, but we don't suspect that happening.
Okay. Alderman O'Kane, looks like your hand's up.
Okay, I got several questions. Okay, do we have an architect or who wrote the specs and who's overseeing this job?
So we used our in-house CDBG inspector, Paul Stork, to help put the specs together. And we actually worked with Laura Lee, who obtained proposals for all of this original rehabilitation work. So it was based on sort of what they've requested in the past, and then came to us for assistance on.
Why is there only one bid? There's not much work out there. I can't believe there's not more than one bid.
Yeah, it was listed for 3 weeks. I did receive 25 to 30 notifications that the bid packet had been requested on our website, and this was the only bid that we received.
Well, did you put it out to the different bidding establishments that pass out this stuff? And are you know, it just doesn't sound right that, I mean, the work needs to get done. I understand that. It's just one contractor and he comes in and changes bids numbers around to make it work. I'm just a little uncomfortable with that.
Yeah. It went through our standard bid protocols, listed on our website, went to the city clerk, and it was posted at City Hall. Like I got a pretty normal amount of requests, in my opinion, from what I've seen in my experience here. I did ask the contractor that same question, and he didn't have an answer for me.
Well, did you talk to any of the local contractors and find out why they didn't bid it?
I tried. We talked to our 4 registered CDBG contractors and asked them why they did not put in a bid. And A couple of them were too busy, and B, they just weren't interested in the work.
Scope of the work.
And this is a contractor that pays fair wages?
It's mandated that they pay prevailing wage.
And who oversees that?
We will.
Okay, I'm still not comfortable with, there should have been an architect or somebody drawing up roof specs and window specs and stuff like that.
I mean, we processed this, Alderman O'Kane. We told them what needed done, and they put together a bid proposal for us, just like we do with any other project that's done. The difference being that instead of it being done for the city of Danville directly, it's being done for this entity, and we're the ones who are funding it through our CDBG program.
Well, have we done other projects, construction projects, and I'm not talking about road work, to this amount of money? And how, when were the bids turned in?
They were opened last Friday.
Last Friday. And then you went to him and told him you're over budget, and he came back with a different idea to get you within budget.
Yeah, and the gym floor change and the change of materials to the roof, he felt pretty comfortable that he'd be able to get underneath that number.
And that's meet your specs, the roof.
Yeah, so the original bid just went out as an in-kind replacement, to not overcomplicate it.
No specs on what's required, the warranty on it and things like that?
There were specifications. We originally requested EPDM roofing, and that was a cost savings on the second proposal end to go with the PVC.
And what's the warranty on the PVC?
Like a 20-year warranty, right? Or
yeah, it's listed. It's got I believe, without going through it, it's more than 25-year warranty behind it.
100%.
Yes,
Any leaks or anything, correct?
yeah, yes.
Okay. He's done work in Danville before?
No, he is not registered and not in the past. No, not with the city, but he will be registered.
Does he do work in Muhammad or Champaign or what?
Yeah, over in that general region. He was the only person to attend the actual walkthrough of the building as well.
Okay. I'll be making some phone calls tomorrow, find out why some of the contractors I know didn't bid it, but okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Alderman Streaming.
Yes, I just looking at what you guys were talking about, and if you took it back to the gentleman, you rechanged everything, don't you think it ought to be rebid again? I mean,
Yeah,
you really should rebid it, because you've taken apples and oranges, you switched them around. Maybe some of these people out there who didn't bid on it for the reason that they looked like it was going to be too much for them. Now you've changed it. I think it ought to be rebid.
Well, let me say this, Alderman Streaming. In the original bid that the man proposed, he proposed an addendum himself that said that he could put a better roof on, which is the PVC roof, for a lower cost.
Okay.
That's why I approved Logan to go ahead and contact him to see what that cost would be. And then he came back with this bid, which was lower.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about, because we here a few years, there are a couple problems with bidding, and I don't want to open that can of worms again in no way, shape, or form.
That's understandable, and if it's your desire that we rebid it, then we'll rebid it.
I mean, that's just my viewpoint on it right now. I mean, I may change my mind by next week by the time I get some of the other stuff that Logan said he's going to send us. But
the other thing that I would mention that I think that we have that's not fair is now the other people know what these individuals have bid on everything. So how are we going to be able to have a fair bidding contest if they already know what, if me and you, Vice Chairman, were bidding on something and I knew that you bid it out, that you bid 129,000, I could say, well, I'll do it for 120 now, and then I don't know that the bidding process would be fair at that point, personally.
I understand.
But and likewise, if they knew there was a budget of $130,000 and they knew they couldn't pay it, so why waste their time bidding it? Now that if they found out that they could adjust the scope of their work to make it work that way, then they may have bid it.
Well, we can rebid it. That's not an issue, but I do encourage you, Alderman O'Kane, to call some local contractors and ask them why they didn't bid on it, and don't be surprised at what you might hear from them.
Well, that's fine. It just, all I have is the paperwork in front of me.
Yeah, that was sent out. That was sent out at 10:26 this morning.
Well, I read the bidding, but I only saw the one contractor in the bid, and there's nothing said about nobody else, why nobody else bid or anything like that.
Logan, in our bid, did it say that there was only $130,000 available? It didn't say that, right? It just
no, we couldn't.
It's done, right?
We can't.
I mean, if they dug deep enough, they could see it in our action plan. But no, we could not list that in the bid.
Right. So it wasn't like we said there's only $130,000, so you have to meet this, and they said 160 and then came back later at 130. I mean, it's not often, sadly, anymore that we only get one bid. There's been a lot of projects where we've only had one bid previously. Chairman, I think you have
Alderman O'Kane, do you have any other question?
Not at the moment.
Okay, Engineer Cole.
Yeah, I was just going to comment based on what Logan said. The nature of the work did not really change. They, from the bid to what they're awarding, there's some minor tweaks, but it's not likely enough to gather new interest or to change the scope enough that it's going to attract or, push away people that were or weren't interested before. what you could do. It's no different than change orders on the backside of what you have awarded. Basically, you as the council and the Public Works Committee are just getting to see in the front end what's going to be necessary to hit the budget, basically. So.
Alderman.
Alderman Streaming, did you have another question, sir?
I just wanted to state that, due to the fact that there was addendum to it that the individual put in, I would like to see that. And then, you know, if he said he could put a better roof on for a cheaper price, then I can understand why he done what he done. Thank you.
Okay, don't see any other hands. Okay, roll call please on 9A and 9B.
Alderman Troya,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Iverson,
Vice Mayor, we're having trouble hearing you again. Vice Mayor, we still cannot hear you.
I think you lost me
There,
too.
there you go. There you are.
Okay, yes.
thank you. Okay,
This week, no. Do I see
Pickering?
some more?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. 6 yes. I'm sorry, Chairman Poor.
Yes,
Thank you, sorry. 6
that's still only
yes.
6 yes though, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, 9C is a resolution accepting the quote for the pump station monitoring equipment and installation. Need a motion to put that on the table, please?
Alderman Streaming, so moved. Make the motion.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Questions? Or any comments? Do we use, are these, this company, do they monitor us now or have we use them?
So yeah, we actually do the monitoring. It's a software and equipment package that we've purchased from them, and this will put the pump stations that we've acquired from the sanitary district on that same system.
Okay.
So, and when we make upgrades to these pump stations somewhere down the road, this can be switched over to the new ones as well. So it's not kind of like a wasted cost, let's say.
Okay.
So.
Don't see any hands. Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
I don't understand.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9D is an ordinance approving the purchase of 916 to 918 North Vermillion Street for community improvement. Need a motion to put that on the table?
Alderman Streaming, so moved.
Okay, second.
And moved and seconded. Questions?
Yep. I'm raising my hand.
Okay, Rick, it looks like you're there.
Yep. I just wonder why this property is so vital that we have to have it. I mean, I drove by today and there's a sign up there for the exact same amount that didn't we try to negotiate with them or talk them down a little bit? Or, we've had the other pieces of property sitting there for God knows how long. I know we just tore some down. Do we have anybody interested in that area?
Myself and Logan can actually answer that question. We just had a meeting this afternoon with someone who is actually interested. It's not a certain thing, but we have had a lot of interest in that property actually, especially since the demolition happened. Vice Chairman, we've had a lot of interest. I'm not going to do what's done in the past and promise you this or that because I don't know this or that for sure. What I can say is with those 2 additional parcels, that gives us 1.4 acres that can be developed right there at the second busiest intersection in all of Vermillion County.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Trollia.
How much money we have tied up in this corner now? Either Sam or Logan, I'm not for sure.
Sam, you want it? I can take it. It's
I don't know if
fine.
I want it. I don't know the exact answer to that one. If you, yeah.
Yeah, just looking at the past, Alderman Troglia, it rough amounts, probably 400 to $500,000.
Seems like we keep losing and doubling down on this and buying.
Well, if you consider one of those purchases was like 300,000, I think, right? Like a single property.
That was years ago.
Yeah, years ago. So the demolition of the Jiffy Lube and then this minor acquisition, they are additional costs, but they're pretty minor, and I don't think we envision. I mean, we want to clean it up and make it usable, and I think this is going to put it right there. So that's
lower price. I didn't have that much problem with that. I talked to Logan on it today. I was asking him, are we advertising this anywhere? Because I mean, there's no sign up there.
We've talked about it, and I think Mayor and Logan and I have talked. We need to probably go out for a request for qualifications for a realtor or somebody and get them involved. That's one of the next steps we need to do for that and some other parcels the city has. You guys concur with that? So
yeah.
Ultimately, what I can tell you though is today when we talked to the developer, I told them we would have to at least get out of it what we put into it, and then probably then a little more than that because it was on such a busy intersection, and they $500,000 seemed to be nothing to them or not unreasonable in any way. Would you agree with that assessment, Logan?
Yeah, I would agree.
Alderman Trolli, any other questions?
We were supposed to get it before, but I mean, I'm not doubting that they would do that, but I mean, we were supposed to have it sold before and it never went through. That was way before I was around.
The big difference is I'm not making you a promise. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Alderman Trollia, chairman, vice chairman, alderman, that we have something sold, but I don't have it sold. We don't have anything sold at all yet. But I can tell you, since we demoed the property, interest has gone up exponentially.
And 3 of the 4 corners are empty now.
Sir?
I said 3 of the 4 corners are empty now. I mean,
Yep. Which I think is good for our future, quite honestly, because the things that were there were not very beneficial to us anymore.
Anything else, Alderman Troglia?
no, that's it. I'll take my hand.
Alderman O'Kane.
Yeah, if I remember right, when we were talking much earlier about acquiring this property, the owner was wanting to put some restrictions on what could be done with the property. Are there any restrictions with this purchase?
There are. There's a middle portion of the lot that used to be, I think, the prescription shop that was between the oil change place and, oh goodness gracious, the family. Gulix. There was the building in between there. That CVS owned. There is a covenant so that you can't put like a tobacco store or a liquor sales store or a convenience store right there. But those are kind of the main 3 categories. But quite honestly, most of what we've had interest in has been restaurants and that type of development thus far.
And there are no restrictions with this.
Are you guessing what can be put there, or you tell me that's exactly the only restrictions?
I'm telling you, those are the 3 main restrictions: is that stuff that sells tobacco, alcohol, or any kind of convenience or
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, yes. Thanks, Sam.
So, if somebody wants to put a restaurant, they can't sell liquor.
No, they can sell liquor. They just can't. It can't be a packaged liquor store because CVS sells liquor. You can't compete with that.
Well, I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Well, I mean, that was something that was put in place before any of it. I mean,
is that totally legal to do that?
I don't know. It was legally. It was done previously.
I mean, if we talked at one time, even of taking that property in the domain, and I don't think that would have gone. The restrictions would have gone with that.
I don't ever recall discussing that property as eminent domain since I've been on the council, but
nothing serious, but that was one of them. It was mentioned that that was one way of doing it, but is there any way we can are you very current with CVS as far as that's what the restrictions are? They're going to maintain that?
We have we could always ask them, but we have a legally binding document that was in the sales contract that says the host of things that you can't do, which summarized are no convenience or pharmacy or liquor store or tobacco place, because they didn't want to compete. Essentially, what they were trying to do is keep Walgreens from going there. That's the bottom line.
So is that 916 or 918 or both of them together? CVS.
Neither of the new parcels have any restrictions. This is just old parcels that the city has acquired in that area.
We do have that parcel already.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought I thought this was one of the parcels.
No,
there are no restrictions on the new parcels.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the home and an empty lot to the north of the home that sit just north of the cleared lot at this point. So it's a pretty dilapidated structure that really is an eyesore at this point.
My Google Maps showed it closer to the corner.
Yeah.
It's Alderman. It's the old Ostling Associates law firm. I looked at the dump. Excuse my language, but I looked at that dump every day out of my office at Project Success for 6 years. So it will be good to not have that blight on our main entry.
Okay. Well, next week, put a little sketch with it too, so people know what the property is. Because if you Google it, it shows it basically shows the property between the Gulicks and the oil change place.
That's weird. That's the CVS. That's the CVS property that we already.
Right.
Former CVS that we already.
But
own.
that's what 916 and 918 Googles.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thanks. That's a good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, if you can look at the actual 3D view of it too, and it shows it way far from the corner. So
I have to use a different app.
Yeah, Google Maps.
None of our maps are current though, that we would give you, so they don't reflect demos and the other stuff. So,
but I still have a question. I mean, with the sign being up for this price, did you guys try not to work out at a lower price on it? Because it's anybody who drives through there can buy it for that.
Alderman, what I'll tell you is, you know how cheap I am. You've been serving with me for 11 years now. Heck yes, we asked that question.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because they got so much interest, they're not willing to negotiate.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Troglia.
This is a question for council on this. So I've heard of this before, CVS and Walgreens doing this to each other. They can just put a covenants on there that lasts forever. And then that way they don't compete against each other. It just seems weird that you could be able to do that to me.
You know, I'd have to look at the document itself. I'm not familiar with it. It's a past purchase, but I would think you could do that, but I'd want to review it to give you a better answer. But I do believe it's something you can do.
Okay, well, if you can just look into that before the next meeting. That is odd to me that you can do that and just permanently not have a competitor across the street from you then.
Sure.
Well,
okay, thank you.
Alderman Trogula, this is Alderman Strebe.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, do you know where they tore down the old Fauner's dry cleaners and where the bank is that the city now is in the process of trying to get? Yeah. At one time, this is before they built where Walgreens is at now. Walgreens had first option on all that property. And then with the chemicals and things they found in the back, it all went by the wayside. But understanding that CVS bought that piece of property because they figured that if Walgreens was going to go in, they were going to go in. And then Walgreens didn't go there, so then CVS moved to the other corner. So that's a little history on it. And that's probably why they had that in there, to make sure that Walgreens couldn't come back and try to take that spot.
Yeah.
Weird to me that you can permanently keep out your competitors.
Yes.
Put the covenants in a.
But again, Mayor, that was only the hump between Gulick's and the gas station that had that.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
But the problem is because Chairman, it's in the middle of everything, it makes it hard to fully use
Right.
that
Yeah, I
whole
understand that.
parcel, you know?
Yeah. Alderman Trogi, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Streaming,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane, Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes,
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 9E, items of information, Director, you want to take those right down to, in order?
Director Carpenter?
Yeah, I'm trying to run down my paperwork, but my computer's not working. We don't have anything on DATS, no new news there. There's no new news on the H&L landfill. That's still in limbo, basically. We aren't running the aquifer down there, the clarifier. And as far as everything else is going right now, we continue to sweep. The street and crews are doing some patching and tree work around town. Sewer department's continuing to televise to help out with what Sam and the engineers will end up doing with the increase in 10 months when we get it. That's about it right now. We did get all our current need for salt in. The salt dome is completely full at this point. All the snow plows are ready to go. Let's just cross your fingers and we won't get no snow.
Coming Saturday. Coming Saturday. What they're saying.
Sure, I look at snow a whole different way than I used to. When I worked in youth development, the majority of our schools closed and our programs closed too, which meant that I got a day off. Now I'm worried about how much it's going to cost us in overtime, whether we're going to have enough material, whether people are going to be mad if we don't get the streets clean enough. So I look at it a whole different way. I don't enjoy snow quite like I did before.
Well, this might be the only blessing of COVID. If we get snows on Sunday, we won't have to work quite as hard because people might stay home for a change.
No. Okay, thank you, Director.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 10, Finance Comptroller Massey.
I had a question.
Oh, I didn't see a hand up.
Well, I was listening. I didn't know he was done. Sorry.
Okay.
I just want to know what's happening on Madison Street. I go by it. I don't see anybody working.
We mean Madison Street.
Is it Madison?
Yeah, I can answer that one. So
Okay.
Madison Street, I'm assuming it's the west. They're doing work to the west and to the east of Gilbert Street. They are going to do a shutdown for the winter time. Basically, they're going to get stuff opened back up, and that's Carl's project. They're doing that work. It's not a city project, but it's something we're monitoring, but we're not in control of that one, basically.
So they'll open that up for the winter.
That's my understanding. Yes, they'll get to a point and open it up for the winter, and they'll start work back up again next spring.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And also, if you haven't been down Harrison was reopened last week by the Fisher Theater.
Look good.
Good.
Very good. Alderman Streaming.
I have a question for Logan. Is there still money, Logan, for CDBG to help people out in neighborhoods?
Which grant are you referring to? The rehabs, the rent, or small businesses?
Rehabs.
Yeah, so we are completely bid out of the 2020 funds, but we continuously accept applications. And if you know of anybody that's interested in the program, just send them into Public Works and then we'll get them taken care of.
Okay, I sent an individual to you probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and I'll give you a call tomorrow and see if they have turned one in, because if not, I want to see if we can help this gal in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, yeah, and I will say, since it is a very competitive program, the earlier anybody gets it in, the better. We're having about a year turnover on an application right
Okay.
now.
Okay,
Yep.
well, I'll give you a call tomorrow and we can check on her. Okay. Thank you.
Vice Chairman, I should brag on these guys too for just a minute. You know how we've always had issues with timeliness and how we almost lost money when I first started?
Yeah.
Well, they've already met their timeliness for the year and we still have 7 months. So congratulations to our team for getting everyone helped. We sure appreciate your efforts a lot.
Yes, thank you.
Righty. Don't see any hands, so we'll move on now to item number 10, finance. Comptroller Massey, you want to take it away?
Yeah, good evening. I'm working on, we just finished open enrollment with all of the employees in the city. I'm working on getting all of those insurance changes keyed into the final draft of the budget. My goal is to email that out to you all on Friday, so that you have the entire weekend and then Monday and all day Tuesday to review it before we vote next Tuesday on the budget. If my day gets away from me in the office, the latest you'll get it is Saturday. I'll get it done on Saturday and send it to you. There's one of you, definitely, if you want a printed copy and you get it that weekend, I'll get it in your mailbox on Monday morning, depending on when I get it done. So if you're a regular, I already know who you are. But if you would like a printed copy, go ahead and email me back and I'll make sure that's in there Monday morning for you to pick up, so you have those 2 days. Other than that, unless you guys have any questions, that's all I have.
And Ashland, these will be primarily minor adjustments, right? If someone went from having a spouse, but now they've had a baby, so they're getting family insurance instead, or maybe someone took the spousal incentive, so their wife or husband is coming off of their plan, right? It's not going to be, we shouldn't see we're not going to see hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference there, probably. Right?
I sure hope not. No, it should be relatively minor. I mean, our margin was pretty small with the general fund on our surplus. So, I mean, if someone gets married with children, and there's a couple of those. So we'll see how it shakes out. And I'll send that to you when it's ready on Friday.
Alderman O'Kane?
I just asked, can you highlight a few of the spots that you've made some changes so I have an idea where I should be looking?
I already have the Word document started on anything that was changed. So right now it's just health insurance, and I found one typo I had in the salary and benefits table. I will be sure to send that along with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Alderman Kane, anything else?
No.
Okay. Alderman Vice Mayor Iverson.
First, I want to tell Ashland that I'm one of the old school who likes printed things, but I've made the change. I've gone electronic and I'm suffering through it. So far, so good. Yeah. It was a lot easier when you just flipped over the paper, but
yeah. It meant I had to buy a new printer.
Well, yeah. And I understand the city's going to save a lot of money not printing hundreds and hundreds of pages of those things. So, I spoke with Chairman Poor the other day, and we decided that this was the time to start. When we were talking about the budget before and the storm and sewer fees, we delayed it a year, which was the appropriate thing to do with COVID. But we also said that we were going to be reviewing possible alternative ways to fund it for the next year. So since Public Works is talking budget tonight, I'm not expecting any final answers, obviously, because Ashland's got the budget pretty much set. And the budget is really good. I like it. It's solid. I'm just afraid of when the storm and sanitary sewer system fees kick in, we really should be discussing other ways we may be able to get in. And I've sent these on to Sam and to the mayor, so they kind of know what I'm going to ask today, so they've had a chance to look at it. One of the ones we're talking about, we had an EPA grant for the Northwest Sewer that goes along with the bridge. So EPA obviously likes to go along with sewer projects because they're an environmental necessity. Is there any chance that there could be an EPA grant for the storm and sewer improvements and cut back some of what the citizens have to pay?
You guys want me to take that one? I can take that one. And you can thank Alderman Trolia for grilling me on this one through the process. So I'm already prepared for this one. So in this last year, there were approximately $2 billion worth of applications for Illinois EPA loan funds. They approved 400 million of those. So approximately 20% of the need was met. In future years, they're providing even less funds in loan funds. So the likelihood of getting funding to meet the needs is going down, and it's not great anyway. Hence why we had to wait many years to get the funding, or that was one of the reasons that we had to wait many years to get the funding that we needed. In addition to that, we are getting principal forgiveness, but in most cases that goes towards high priority projects like wastewater treatment plants. They prioritize things that have direct environmental benefit, like the treatment systems and things like that. So it's not something that I am willing to, that I wouldn't recommend banking on that. And it's unlikely that that would be the case going forward. So not to say that you can't go for loans, you can, but that's not, it's definitely not a sure thing, and it's not going to be a timely effort.
So we do have some pump station repairs in there, so that would be on the same level as the wastewater ideas for the EPA.
Possibly.
I know it's a maybe under the Biden administration we'll get more environmental than we did under the Trump administration. I don't know.
Right, and I think our current project, we barely made the cut for funding for forgiveness. We were literally the last project on the list priority-wise to get that. And, this is probably one of our highest risk areas, because when we have overflows and breaks, it goes right into the lake, which is our drinking water source. So if anything's going to get funded at a high likelihood, it's that one. Not to say that there won't be others, but I have a hard time thinking of something that would be as likely of a candidate. So.
And Sam, didn't we just have over the weekend or recently another pump station?
That's
failure?
correct. We did just have another break on the force main from one of the pump stations out there, and our crews, Dave Rui, manned that one, coordinated it all, and our crews came in, I believe I think it was Saturday afternoon until early morning hours Sunday morning to fix that. So.
Well, I know too that the mayor is not enthusiastic about issuing bonds for things, but what would the effect if we sold like $1.5 or $2 million in bonds to help pay for some of this? I know it depends on what the current rate is, how long you put it out for, but is there any way to kind of guess how much it would cost the city to do that? And would it end up being more costly to the taxpayers over the 10, 20-year span that it is to pay for it through the fees?
I mean, Ashland can speak to this more, but traditionally bonds are reserved for those projects that far exceed your annual need and your ability to cash flow a project. It would be for like a single long-term investment. And in this case, we're doing that for the North. Essentially, a loan is like a bond. It's just a different version of it. So you're paying that back over a long period of time. In reality, most of our projects they're going to fit within that cash flow umbrella. And should you come across some project we don't see now I think you're probably talking a project that's in the $10 million range is something that you would bond or consider this for in the future. So projects less than that, your normal ones are going to fit under that umbrella. And I think Ashland can speak more to what the rate would be, but obviously you're going to pay back more than what you borrow.
Yeah, just like a loan, there's origination fees and servicer fees. We pay our bond servicer a fee every year for facilitating that bond on top of the interest that we pay, on top of the origination fees. And, like Sam said, bonds are typically for one-time purchases, or, well, not one time, but like long-term projects, like where there's a big cost up front and it will have a useful life of 30, 50, 60 years. for that payment. So the reason the rate proposal came up was for maintenance. It's not for, building some new thing that'll last us 6 years. It's maintenance of infrastructure that we already have. So if we defer that cost, there's going to be continual maintenance coming up, but then we also deferred the cost of maintenance back here. So now we're going to have to be paying the same maintenance costs twice at the same time. So either way, citizens are paying for this, whether we push it down later with bond payments on top of the maintenance fees they need, or it's more cost effective to just have the rates that we passed already, and it comes in, we maintenance it as it's needed, and we move forward. So
yeah, and I mean, effectively bonding something rather than we've proposed it to everybody. We start paying our fair share now, and we're not passing more burden to future generations. Bonding it and delaying the impact for 10 or 15 or 20 years just pushes more of that burden onto those future generations that we're already saddling with this if we don't do it. So
we would essentially be doing the same thing that our forefathers did to us, to our descendants.
And that's something I want to avoid. Obviously, I think it is an important idea that we have to do, and we've been kicking it down the road, as you said, and the sewers need to be fixed. I'm just kind of looking at a way to make it a little easier.
It's not
that way.
And I mean, it's not this, although we've talked about this being 5 years, we've put 5 years worth of projects on the pump station side, or this is the estimated annual cost for the, lining projects and the rehabilitation projects. And this is an ongoing thing. It's not just 5 years and we're caught up. This is how much we need to be spending plus increasing it every year because of inflation. So it's not a, big project and done for the long haul type thing. This is the sustainable path to get on. So
now, I know the enterprise funds are supposed to be self-supporting and not using property taxes. And one of the places I thought of is the cannabis fees that we're getting in. Could those be used to go towards the sanitary sewer fund? I know it's not a lot of money in the big scheme. We're looking at like $600,000, I think, in the cannabis thing for next year. But I know it's also a growing one. It seems to be getting bigger instead of smaller, and hopefully it'll be big enough to help out in the future. Is that something we could use?
Vice Mayor, what I would say, I just want to make sure that I clarify, legally, enterprise funds are supposed to be completely self-sustaining. So it's not just that property tax couldn't or shouldn't be used to support that. It means no other fund should be used to support that system. So, for example, with the sewer system, the fees that we collect are supposed to be taken in to completely support the maintenance and the upgrades that are needed for that. So it is supposed to be completely and totally legally self-supporting if it's an enterprise fund. This meaning that there's no revenue coming from anywhere else, not just property taxes, but from any other source to help support that. You asked specifically about the cannabis. Yes, cannabis is a good source of revenue, but right now every bit of that is going towards the increased pension fees that we have coming in so that we don't have to raise people's property taxes, which I think would be disastrous for us, especially at this time. I think that's one of the least unfair taxes that exists in the world, personally, and it would hit people exponentially. So legally, you're not supposed to have other revenue sources contributing to an enterprise fund, any other type of revenue. So no, we shouldn't use it. We legally can't be or shouldn't be using anything else. But number two, cannabis specifically is already going to help offset our public safety fees for fire and our police for their pensions so that we don't have to raise our property taxes. So that one wouldn't be good. The other thing that I would say is Congress just took up, or the House, I think, just took up a measure to decriminalize marijuana. If that happens, we've only got maybe 2 or 3 years where all of our friends from Indiana and other places are visiting Sunnyside out there. So that will be, for now it's an increasing revenue. If things go the way that I predict, it won't be long before nationally it's legal to sell marijuana everywhere. Once that happens, our revenues will plummet, and from that line item.
That's kind of a hard situation. You don't want to be enthusiastic for more marijuana use, but it's like the liquor tax is going up. Is that a good thing? Not really. Okay, I know that we're not supposed to, but we've funded it through other sources in the past, and I know you're trying to get away from that. I imagine the cannabis fund is the same answer I'm going to get for casino revenue if God in his wisdom ever grants us any casino revenue. That's also going to go to pension and other things like that, and is already planned for once we get it, correct?
We don't have an established plan for it yet. My thought, though, has always been that the biggest portion would be to help us get caught up on our pensions. And then after that, there are tons of infrastructure things that we need. And in order to avoid going to the people for more money constantly, it would be my recommendation then that we use that the money that we don't send to pensions for two things. Number one would be infrastructure throughout the city, particularly roads. We have a lot of road work that we've got to catch up on, as you know. And then the other thing would be neighborhood revitalization. We have a lot of blight still in a number of our neighborhoods throughout the city. I would like to see us get it to where all of our neighborhoods are looking good, where anyone would want to live anywhere in town, not just in certain places. But again, it also goes back to this idea, Vice Mayor, of it's an enterprise fund, so the fees that we collect are supposed to be taking care of the needs of that obligation.
Well, sewers would be an infrastructure. You mentioned infrastructure, but again, we can't, until we have casino revenue coming in, we really can't make any specific plans for it. And I won't even ask you if you heard anything new for that, because people want to know.
I will tell you one good thing that's happened. I intended to send it out an email earlier, but I just ran out of time, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned it here. I have received an email from Frank Sporsich, the investigator from the IGB, who was assigned to Danville the first time. He has reached out to me and asked for a number of items so they can get our review process rolling again. And I submitted all of those items to him. Gosh, Vice Mayor, probably just about 2 hours ago. So we are our application is officially being reviewed.
Yay. Now we also mentioned COVID funding. It looks like Washington might be approving another COVID funding package. If the city were to get money along the way for that, couldn't some of that be used for sewer plans? I mean, sewers are essential, obviously, and they're important to keeping up a healthy city. So if we got COVID funding, is it a possibility we could use some for this?
If the COVID funding, if there's another package, and if the package has the same guidelines as the package we've already received, the answer is no.
That doesn't seem right. Let's change the whole thing. Come on.
I wish we could, Vice Mayor. It would certainly make all of our lives a lot easier, but unfortunately, the parameters they put in place previously would not allow for such.
Yeah, the CURES funding comes with specific parameters on what's considered eligible expenses, and I do not believe that sewer maintenance would be one of them.
Vice Mayor, at this point, they won't even allow us to buy hand sanitizer or soap with it anymore. Now, how could there be anything more basic than fighting the spread of COVID than washing your freaking hands? And yet they won't let us pay for soap or hand sanitizer. Yeah. It's kind of insane.
Well, one of the things they're trying to help is jobs, and the whole sewer project would be work involved in making things better. Plus, the improvements in the sewer system will help create more jobs and better organizations. But that's logic that apparently escapes federal government. Well, you've pretty much answered some of the concerns I had and some other things that people asked me about. I would encourage not just public works people, but the other half of the city council to keep looking at possible out-of-the-box ideas and see if we can come up with something. We have a year to look at it before the new fees kick into effect in November, but time passes very quickly, even under stay-at-home orders. So we should be looking at those things. That's all I have for now. Thanks.
Thanks, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments? Any questions for Comptroller Massey?
This is Alderman Strebe, and I will say thank you very much for all your due diligence to get this budget for the fiscal year in line. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I appreciate you guys commending our comptroller and her team. They bust hump, and I can tell you, on the end of some of those budget days, I don't know who's more tired, Ashlyn or I. Probably her, because after we get done with everything, she has to go back and make all the changes and such that we've all given the department heads and then the council have given her. So appreciate your endurance, and also to all of the department and division heads. Thank you guys. To everyone worked really hard to make this reasonable, and I think they've done a good job considering what we're facing.
Absolutely a full team effort. Thank you.
Anything else, Ashlyn?
I do not have anything.
Okay. Vice Mayor Iverson, do you have a question?
Nope, sorry, just didn't take my hand down.
All right. Item number 11 is closed session. There is no need for a closed session. Item number 12, items of information. Anyone?
Chairman, I would, if I may, I just would add that if you haven't been downtown yet, it looks great. We actually have 26 entrants in our Light Up Danville contest throughout the city. David Rui, our construction manager, was kind enough to put those in order so that you wouldn't do any backtracking. So I just updated that. So if you haven't had a chance to go out, look, and we have some pretty awesome people. They've done some great decorations. And what I love is it's not just one area of town. We've got everyone, we've got places all the way from the east to the west to the north and to the south. So I thank all of our citizens who participated in that. It's just one more thing that I think would help us through an otherwise hard season. So please make sure you check those out.
Thank you, Mayor.
Is the background behind Alderman Pickering, does that count? Can we vote on that?
No, but you can come and look at my house.
Okay.
It's never, Alderman Pickering has put herself on the tour, but she has recused herself from eligibility for a prize. But we want to make sure people get out there to see it because it's awfully beautiful. So.
All right.
Thank you.
Item number 13, committee members' comments.
There's a comment.
There you go.
If somebody got that on recording or something, that's perfect timing twice in a row.
Well spoken.
I can't speak
Sorry.
on my dog. Okay. I just have a comment. If you're living with somebody that has COVID, or if you've been sick enough to test for COVID, please stay home. I've run into 2 incidents in the last week or so where people, they don't feel sick, but their spouse is sick, or they've been sick enough to go get a test, and then they've still gone out to meetings and stuff. I just hope people realize that they're supposed to be behaving a little bit better and watching not just themselves, but for everybody else. That's just a observation. Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder, Alderman. I would just say, please use some common freaking sense. We're exalted in many places to consider others above ourselves. And if we'll do that, then we'll not only keep ourselves safe, but we'll keep everyone, and especially the most vulnerable, safe. So please, if you're in public, unless you're eating or drinking, wear your freaking mask. Wear your mask wherever you're at, indoors, in public. Please do that. Socially distance. Wash or sanitize your hand as much as you're able, and do not go to large gatherings. It's just not wise at this time. Thanks, Alderman O'Kane, for the reminder.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Item number 14, haven't satisfied the agenda. Motion for adjournment, please.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody have a great evening.
Have a great week, guys. Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.